2022. Almost every investor has been warning of an economic slowdown of some kind, but not many give a time frame as urgent as Elon's latest prediction. This video will cover why Elon believes a recession is imminent and how investor and founder of several successful companies, Elon Musk has experienced firsthand the struggles of a financial crisis. He sold his first company that he co-founded with his brother, Zip2, in February 1999 for over $300 million. That's right before the dot-com bubble popped in March of 2000. Elon also experienced a 2008 recession and simultaneously went bankrupt. Now Elon believes we are about to experience a similar situation within the next few months. A tech journalist for the Wall Street Journal tweeted, "There are 936 startups valued at more than $1 billion in the world today. What do we think this chart looks like in, say, 5 years? Attached to the tweet is an image showing all the unicorns, which are private companies with a valuation of over $1 billion in almost every sector, with each containing tens or hundreds of companies. This is a stark difference with the 150 unicorns that existed in September 2019. That is a 6x in 2 years, a rate that is certainly not sustainable. If history is any guide, not many will make it past the next recession." After being asked when the next recession will be, Elon said, "Predicting macroeconomics is challenging, to say the least. My gut feel is maybe around spring or summer 2022, but not later than 2023. There are many reasons to believe that a recession will come in 2022. First of all, I'm sure." In response to a tweet that said 99-cent dreams, Elon said, "Now $1.25. The main reason why prices are increasing is because of the government's excessive expenditures, which essentially allowed the US to print its way out of the 2020 recession. This graph shows the amount of tax that the average US worker has to pay to keep the federal budget funded. The level of tax that each worker has to pay has spiked significantly in recent years to basically a humongous amount." Elon responded to that data by saying, "This chart is a big deal. In an effort to lower the government budget, the Federal Reserve plans to raise interest rates and slow down quantitative easing, which is when the Federal Reserve purchases bonds. The Fed recently released a press statement estimating that they will need to raise interest rates to 0.9% in 2022. While 0.9% may seem like a small amount, it's actually a substantial increase when compared to the average interest graph. The Fed attempted to raise interest rates to 2.4% in 2019. However, the market reacted negatively, forcing interest rates to go down to 1.5% before the pandemic even started. A rate impact the market, especially because the financial markets have become so reliant on 0% interest rates.
The median projection for the appropriate level at the end of 2022, about a half percentage point higher than projected in September. Participants expect a gradual pace of policy firming, with the level of the federal funds rate generally near estimates of its.
In addition to raising interest rates, the Fed also plans to taper off on bond purchases. Starting from mid-January 2021, the Fed will slow down its bond purchases by $30 billion per month. By mid-March, Fed Chair Jerome Powell estimates that the Fed will no longer be buying any bonds at all. Speaking video, Trends.co is helping entrepreneurs and ambitious people learn about new business trends months before everyone else. Trends is a knowledge and networking hub where users learn from the world's most successful. It has a dynamic team of business analysts that have outlined over 1,000 vetted business ideas. That number is still growing today as they send new newsletters every week. Trends
technology businesses, and then we've also made minority investments in about 80 other technology companies.
Through Trends, you also get access to over 15,000 different entrepreneurs, investors, and operators, all of whom make a really incredible community. Fans of the channel can sign up for a $1 using the first link in the description. That's right, you can access a 7-day trial for Trends for only $1 down below. Now let's get back to the video.
At today's meeting, the committee also decided to purchases. Beginning in mid-January, we will reduce the monthly pace of our net asset purchases by $20 billion for Treasury securities and $10 billion for agency mortgage-backed securities. If the economy evolves broadly as expected, implying that increases in our securities holdings would cease by mid-March, a few months sooner than we anticipated in early November.
This might sound great on the surface, as inflation will likely cool down because of this. However, as a result, the economy has rebounded significantly from the pandemic, but that recovery was reliant on the government spending, which is about to stop soon. Elon Musk predicted that a recession could come as soon as spring 2022, which is about in line with when the Fed halts its bond purchases. What I just mentioned might sound horrible already, but recession is actually quite common because it is simply 2 consecutive quarters of negative GDP growth. Therefore, even if the GDP declines by 0.5% for 2 quarters, that would still be considered a recession. On the flip side, a depression is when the GDP drops over 10% in 1 year. The most renowned instance of this is the Great Depression, during by 30%. Just like before every financial crisis, economic prosperity preceded the Great Depression. Dubbed the Roaring Twenties, the 1920s marked one of the greatest periods of speculation, which of course set the stage for the Great Depression. Tim Urban asked, "We're 20% of the way through the 2020s. Can we start the roaring part soon?" Elon responded with a 100 and a praying emoji. He then further elaborated by tweeting, "Let's make the roaring 20s happen." This tweet implies that Elon believes we aren't too far away from the roaring 20s. One Twitter user mentioned how there's a website that lets you take pictures of dumb NFTs for money. The website essentially mocks NFTs by showing how you can just take pictures of NFTs instead of owning them on the blockchain. Elon laughed at the tweet. "We could already be in the roaring 20s, but in the 21st century instead of the 20th century. Another factor that could instigate growing retail inventories. Cathie Wood, a fund manager who Elon Musk deeply respects, has been predicting an economic oversupply to inventories. Retail inventories are down significantly from pre-pandemic highs, as supply chains are failing to meet consumer demand. In response to this, businesses have to satisfy future consumer demand. Cathie believes such orders have been overdone and will lead to massive amounts of sitting inventory. Recent indicators are showing that her prediction may become true within the next few months. Cathie tweeted, "We learned that in November, retail inventories rose more than 2%, the fastest pace since the 90s, while imports jumped 4.7% and exports dropped 2%. More real consumption, including services, was flat, and the saving rate dropped to 6.9%, below pre-COVID levels. The increases that Cathie so inventories would actually be increasing at a 24% annual rate if such an increase were to be sustained for a year. The inventory increases are so clear because entire third quarter GDP growth was purely from inventory growth. As inventories continue to increase in the next few months, the economy will likely slow, could lead to fears of a recession within the next 3 to 6 months. That timeframe is right in line with Elon's prediction of a recession. Investors can hedge their portfolios from a recession in several ways. Ray Dalio, fund manager, believes that purchasing Chinese stocks will yield huge returns while de-risking investment portfolios. However, many definitely find Dalio's prediction to be questionable. Chamath Palihapitiya has become market neutral by purchasing Microsoft and Google while shorting Meta, Netflix, Apple, and Amazon. Lastly, Cathie Wood is shorting, which could serve as a hedge against the stock market crash. So there you have it, Elon Musk's prediction of a recession coming as soon as 2022 and no later. Let me know whether you think Elon Musk is right and whether you want me to go in depth on how investors can hedge themselves against a potential recession. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. See you in the next one.